ABC Sports presents, live in its 28th season, the Professional Bowlers Tour. Today, from Peoria, Illinois, it's a $150,000 True Value Open. In our opening match, Del Ballard Jr. of Richardson, Texas, starts his quest for a third title this year. His opponent, Jack Jurek of Lackawanna, New York, looks for his first win. That winner will face the 1985 Player of the Year, Mike Albee of Indianapolis. 16-time champion Wayne Webb of Beaumont, Texas, awaits the winner in our semifinal game. And Venezuela's Amleto Monicelli is our tournament leader, looking for his third PBA title. That's our field for today's Professional Bowlers Tour telecast. And this is the entrance to one of the finest bowling centers anywhere in America. Landmark Plaza, health clubs and all. And inside now, crowds have packed Landmark lanes for this championship in its 8th year, the True Value Open. Look at the crowd cheering on our 5 finalists and a group of 5 that have a total of 36 titles. But during the week, they've been really shooting high scores, a record-tying 13 perfect 300 games. And in our field of 5, there were 4 300s. Should we have a 300 game this afternoon, True Value will double the ante and make it $200,000. Personally, I hope it happens, and I know you do too. Wide World of Sports follows us, and today it's the Bud Light Ironman Triathlon World Championship. Both men and women, swimming, cycling, ending up with a full-fledged marathon. It's a true test of endurance, stamina, and will. And ice sculptures featuring the 2 Bryans, Boitano and Orser, and of course East Germany's gift to the ice skating world, Katharina Witt. So we expect a lot of action right here at Landmark this afternoon in the True Value Open. And I know Bo Burton has been impressed all week with the action that we've seen. Bo, tell us about it and introduce us to your guest.
Thank you, Chris. Scoring has been the story at the True Value Open. Let's take a look at the number 5 position man, Del Ballard's opening round. Look at these scores: 300, 253, 260, 300 again, 217, 224. And despite all that and a 259 average, he had to bowl this game in the 42nd and last game of the tournament just to make it in the championship round. We expect a lot more of that scoring here today. Now with me is the man in the number 3 position, bowling's 6th all-time money winner, Southpaw Mike Albee. And Mike, 9 months since the lefties won a tournament. What's the, let's say, problem out here on the tour?
Oh, I wouldn't really call it a problem. The way Parker Bowen's been bowling, he could have won a couple titles this year, but the breaks haven't went his way. So there's really no jinx or anything like that. The breaks just haven't went their way.
Pretty congenial attitude. Let's take another look at the money out here. You know, you have $200,000 available, and the lane conditions are there to shoot the 300 game today. Is that going to be your attitude in your match, to go for the 200 grand or go against the opponent?
Well, when you're bowling, when there's that many strikes being thrown, it's very important to take one shot at a time, because if you look too far ahead, you can't get the strikes you need in the early part of the match. So just keep your head on the game and one shot at a time.
Mike, good luck in breaking the left-handed jinx. And Chris, there's a lot of money besides the $200,000 available in today's tournament. Let's take a look.
That's right. The winner today, 27-14 for runner-up, 8,500, 7 and 6. And in our first match, we have a non-winner, a likable 25-year-old from Lackawanna, New York, Jack Jurek, West Texas State College, member of the bowling team, but this is Del Ballard. Back-to-back wins this year. So Del Ballard crosses over, and he did not like that shot, leaving the 6-pin on the left lane. Here's a man that fired 2 perfect 300 games this week. One in Las Vegas and in Grand Prairie. And the hometown victor is certainly sweet, as he is a native of Richardson. Now, get a look at the 5'9" collegiate bowler, Jack Jurek. Second TV final, Bo, so he's had the taste of the pressure earlier.
Well, he got a lot of pressure learning in college. Starts out with a wide shot. Jack Jurek had a 4-year scholarship to West Texas State. Said he developed his talent in the international competitions. He's bowled, he represented the United States team in Bogota, Colombia, and also bowled in Australia, Chris. So he's pretty well used to the pressure, but he's never won on the PBA Tour, and that's the final step up.
All right, there he is, a left of center. No problem in marking with a spare. We're all even after one frame. And if you just joined us, the winner of this very first game will meet left-hander Mike Albee, and then another of bowling's best, Wayne Webb, and the international star Amleto Monicelli, the tournament leader.
The three-quarter grip employed by Jack Jurek, where the fingers are inserted in between the first and second knuckle, and it's a good all-around control and power grip.
Nice crossover shot. He knows where Brooklyn, New York is because he's from Lackawanna, a suburb of Buffalo, New York.
Well, he's just happy to have a good break there and get this match underway. Now, Del Ballard, the experienced player, should recognize that little bit of nervousness in Jurek and jump right on it.
That leaves a 10 pin. And we have some bending bowling balls today, Bo.
Chris, well put. They're rainbow shots. They're really throwing the big hook. As you look at the profile of Del Ballard, one we're becoming very, very familiar with. He rocks and actually takes a four-step delivery, cupped wrist, low profile, long slide, high follow-through, and never even flinched as he came through that shot. Nice and steady.
You know, we talk about Albee and Red, but Del Ballard is the 1987 U.S. Open champion, and last year in Jacksonville became the Masters winner.
Del Ballard has won his last 9 games bowled in the championship round. He has 9 victories, no losses, backing up for almost a year. So theoretically, every time he makes the TV show, he wins the tournament. Let's see what happens today.
Well, averting the split, leaving only the 4-7, who on the money list stands second to Brian Voss, who failed to make the cut and is taking a week off in Cancun, Mexico.
You see the angle that Del Ballard is trying to attack this championship here. He's starting the ball around the second arrow, and when he throws it properly, it goes all the way out almost to the channel. The last board makes that break and sets up. That time he didn't get wide enough, left a fairly simple spare.
Del Ballard's 10th television appearance in his career, 4 victories. Seems a little tense today. It's just not that loose Texan that we normally see.
Agreed. Both players, Chris, a little bit tight. I can even see it in Jurek's face, trying to aim the ball a little bit.
Oh, big double. Going out now to a 13-10 lead is the non-winner, Jack Jurek.
Jurek with a real good style to start off. 5-step delivery, little shuffle step, good push away. Now he kind of cocks his elbow right at the top of the swing and rolls his wrist underneath the ball. Terrific finish at the foul line. Notice that foot perpendicular to the foul line and everything down the target line as he takes advantage of that lucky break he got in the second frame. The crossover makes it good in the third. Has a 13-pin lead.
And upset now to 23 against the 2-time winner this year, Del Ballard. We're in our first game. More of it following this.
The oil is down here heavy for about 21 feet, light down through this area to 41 feet, and it's dry. Even though it's shiny back here in the back end, that's just a reflection of the lights. Now here's the angle that the players are playing. They're playing out almost to the channel, breaking it back. Now Albee more towards the center, around the second arrow, and coming in from the left side.
And mentioning Albee, he will meet either Del Ballard or Jack Jurek in our next game. At the moment, Del Ballard is down by 23. Spare working, shooting in the 4th frame. Yeah. First strike and 4 for Ballard. Let's see if that furrowed brow loosens up a little bit now after that one.
Del Ballard's been playing a type of shot that what I call a rollout shot in his championship win in Las Vegas and then again at the Quaker State. Ballard sends the ball out real wide, and just as it gets to the pocket, it kind of what we call rolls out or quits, so it doesn't break high. Now, if he can continue to carry the 10-pin with that type of shot, he has a big pocket to shoot at. If indeed he quits carrying, he has a big problem.
just did not come up, leaving the 1, 2, 8, 10.
Del Ballard sends it very wide. The ball swings out almost to the channel, but he's using a brand new shiny ball. I'm sure you can see it on TV, and it slides too much, almost slides off in the channel. The lane only being 60 feet long to the head pin. He needed about 65 there to get back. Has a difficult spare.
Great conversion. The strike, and that conversion should really get Del Ballard back into the game. But his opponent, Jurek, let's watch again.
The washout, perfectly shot by Ballard, sends the ball out over the track zone, is going to hit the head pin on the left side, drive it to the sideboard. It'll take out the 10. He still trails in the match by 23. Chris, spares, even sensational shots like that will not get the job done today. You need strikes.
Because this man has a double up, shooting in the 5th frame of our first game. Pulling together. Earlier we asked Jack, how did college help prepare him to be a professional bowler? Here's what he said.
I think the collegiate program really helped a lot. We got to bowl on a variety of conditions and do a lot of traveling, which helps out here on tour. And being in pressure situations when you got your university on the line, I think it's helped a lot in trying to cope with the pressure out on tour.
Okay. Now with 3 in a row, shooting in the 6th frame. Our championship pair of 37 and 38 to the liking thus far of Jack Jurek. Now Ballard.
Well, Ballard sends the ball out wide, and Chris, I just don't like the way his ball is rolling. I watched him all week long. I watched him start off the tournament with that 300 spree, and he was using a ball that broke much sharper towards the back end. Today he's playing like a safe ball, and it's just not going to get the job done. I don't want to jinx him, but he better throw some strikes right now.
Leaving a 4 playing a professional that's usually very aggressive.
Well, when his ball is telling him you're in trouble and his opponent has 5 strikes in a row, it takes a little bit of your aggression away from you. And Ballard really has dug himself a deep ditch here. As you see his ball drifting slightly high. 3rd pin on the left-hand part of your screen normally knocks out the 4. Ballard with a conversion would trail by 43. Needs to get his act together.
Okay. Brian Voss was a defending champion here. Brian finished 42nd after a fast start this year. Smile, this man now has strung 6. While we're away running a little bit behind time, he came up with 2. And another for Ballard, only his 3rd in this match.
Well, Ballard sends the ball wide there and just saws the rack. Now he wants to see some real power. He just puts a nice even stroke on. Watch the action of the 3-6, the 2nd and 3rd pins on the right-hand part of your screen. He just saws that 6 pin, almost chops it off the 10, blows the 5 over the top of 7. Ballard must strike on this ball or he can't win. Best he can shoot is 227. Jurek going at a 250 pace.
All right. Now, Del looking at the score sheet.
He knows that 227 is going to be short. Right now, let's take Jack Jurek, as they say, off the sheet. He would have a 290 game to open the telecast.
And that's the score Del Ballard had to get into the 5th spot. Had to shoot a big 290 and started with a spare as his opponent here, Jack Jurek, has. There's Eileen Jurek and his Aunt Gloria. The 2 ladies drove over 700 miles overnight from Lackawanna, New York, just to see Jack compete here in Peoria.
And he's rewarding him with a strike spree. A possible 290 game for Jack Jurek.
He was hoping for his 3rd Brooklyn. So Mom trying to get a signal from Jack's aunt. Very relaxed now with that one pin to shoot at.
Possible 269, a spare and a strike. Del Ballard still has a 227, not going to be enough.
Okay, we have a winner, and he will meet a great named Mike Albee. The Professional Bowlers Tour will continue after this message and a word from our ABC station.
The Professional Bowlers Tour.
At Landmark in Peoria, Illinois, a capacity crowd watching the True Value Open. Our first match has ended, and a big win for non-winner Jack Jurek. 8 in a row to shoot the big score, Del Ballard, coming up short. So it'll be Jurek going against many-time winner Mike Albee. You know, $23 million last year alone raised for charities through bowling, by bowling. An interesting event at Madison Square Garden, Bo, on Monday night that we talked about last week, to benefit the Second Stage Theater, which is a showcase for American plays. They filled the lanes with enough people to raise $100,000 for that theater. And here's one of my favorite actresses, Lauren Hutton. Not bad form, Bo.
She makes the spare almost.
And Elizabeth McGovern wasn't too bad. Take a look at this in the tough split.
Watch this shot. I think she makes this.
Well, and is she happy? There were sports stars there, too, Nelson. You know this man.
There is DJ, and then also we see Lynn Swan won the Team Spirit Award, and here's the Kingpin standings as Randy Peterson has a commanding lead, Chris, at 446. Voss, who took a vacation to Cancun after finishing in the money this week. Parker Bone, Del Ballard, Dave Ferraro. And here's how the points are broken down. First place, 125.
And then 100, where Budweiser is sponsoring a $50,000 pointless competition. It runs through the winter and spring, and at the end of it all, a big check to the man that leads in the points. And here's Mike Albee, who was a PBA Player of the Year, is a PBA Rookie of the Year, has a lot of wins, 14 titles. And has to open with that.
Mike Albee said that he's going to concentrate on winning the match, and he must do that now because any thoughts of winning $200,000 have gone by the wayside without a strike in the first frame. But Mike said something about the lefties not winning out here, and any of you who have followed us for the years remember that the lefties dominated almost the sport percentage-wise in the 1970s, and just in the recent years, and I think a little bit, Chris, has to do with the lanes hooking a lot more. Left-handers seem to have more problem with the drier lane surfaces that we have out here on the tour in the last year or so.
Mike was, after that beautiful conversion, one of 6 that made the final cut to 24 bowlers. 17 were in the field of 160. But this right-hander with a 268, Bo, Jack Jurek, impressed us.
Excellent first game performance. Second time in the championship round. His first championship round came in Edmond, Oklahoma.
Off to a proper start. His 2 West Texas State teammates, Mark McDowell and Nathan Terry Jr., were on earlier telecasts this year, so that school is getting bowling recognition.
Jurek early started bowling at the age of 9. I asked him what he averaged in his first junior league. He said 124, so he really wasn't a prospect when he was real young, but he's looking very good now.
And Bowler's Journal picked him as the 84 Amateur of the Year, and now he's opened with a double in his second game of the afternoon from Peoria.
And, Chris, next week we travel out to the synthetic bowling lanes of the Showboat Atlantic City Open. The only time this year we're bowling on synthetic lanes. That was the host center for the U.S. Open last year. Then on to Cleveland for another Budweiser tournament.
With a big bend, getting all but the 4-7 for Mike Albee, a native of Indianapolis, Indiana, where he's going back to tonight.
Mike Albee with a slightly dropped left shoulder, inside swing, starts the ball somewhere on the center of the lane, sends it out wide, almost to the channel. Still doesn't keep the ball wide enough to avoid going high. Leaves a 4-7 spare conversion.
He uses about 2/3 of the approach. Carefully sets himself. All right, marking with 2 spares. And these professional bowlers really travel before the next tournament starts, like Mike. He'll leave Indianapolis tomorrow, fly to New York, Long Island, for a charity bowling event with many of the New York Islander hockey players, because Mike is a great hockey fan at John Caprice's Sheraton Bowling Academy.
Albie using the full grip, just the tips of his fingers in the ball. Good snap at the point of release.
Mike Albee getting his first strike in our second game in the third frame. Jack Jurek opening with a double, following a 268-226 win over Del Ballard. A 7.
Jurek sending the ball wide, not quite getting back and getting the good break on the 7-pin. And one of the reasons the scores have been so high here, the carry is fantastic. And I asked our PBA personnel what caused the pin carry to be so consistent, and they said it's the way the lanes were installed. They were installed, and the pin decks were tied down in 2 or 3 different spots. So it's a nice firm back end, get a lot of bounce on the pins, and obviously more pin action.
Winner of this game will meet Wayne Webb and then Amleto Monicelli.
Let's take a look at the line that Jack Jurek is playing. He's going to start somewhere in the middle with his feet. He's going to slide around the 20th board, but his trajectory will be out around the second arrow, then all the way out to the channel. Let's see if he keeps the ball somewhere in that line and gets it wide enough to keep it in the lights pocket area.
If he'd have followed your line, he wouldn't have had that.
He went a little bit inside of it, and that's how close pro bowling is. A board mistake here or there, and now we have a very, very difficult split to convert. Chris, he must get the ball over in this 3-6 area and drive the 3-pin over to the 4-7. An unusual split, but it is very makeable if you make that 3-pin slide over to the left side of the lane.
We haven't seen that one for years.
That's for sure.
So very close. Oh, but the 4. What a try. We'll return with more of our second game from Peoria following this. Chicago, Barbara and Jerry Thompson, General Merchandise Manager, Cotter & Company, parent of True Value Hardware Stores. Jerry taken over after Ed Langto resigned following 41 years, retired, I should say, with Cotter & Company. What a career Ed has had. So Mike Albee now, coming up with that double, has taken the lead.
Albee, one of the most aggressive bowlers in all of professional bowling. He's always in top shape. And as
there's Tammy, and earlier we asked her husband Mike, if he hadn't become a pro bowler, what would he have done? Well, we'll give you that answer following this shot. A big one for Mike.
Jack Jurek, I asked him what he does best in the sport of bowling right before we came on to the championship round. He says, Bo, don't worry about strikes or anything. The one thing I do best is I don't give up. He trails by 24 pin. He has to get going.
The first victory, 268 to 226. He strung 8 in a row. Started with a double, spare, and now with a strike in the 5th frame. You'll have to put them together because you see Albee has 3 in a row. I promise you the answer to Mike Albee's question.
Jurek, an all-around good athlete, 9 handicap golfer, 4-year varsity baseball player in high school. Needs some strikes.
And gets that.
Trouble.
1, 2, 4, 6, 10. Another strange leave.
Well, Chris, it's the big hook ball that these players are all attempting, and here's what Jack has to do. He has to get the ball to the left of the head pin, the 1-2 zone, and drive that 1 pin into the 6 and hope it carries out the 10. So it's a very difficult shot. That extra 6 pin in there makes it much more difficult than the plain old washout 1, 2, 4, 10. Let's see how he handles it.
All-out effort. So now Albee comfortably steps up with 3 in a row, shooting in the 6th frame, 2nd game. Winner to meet Wayne Webb. 4 in a row. Now the answer to the question to Mike, if he weren't a pro bowler, what would he be doing?
I always told the counselors in high school counting so I could get them off my back so I could just bowl. But if I hadn't been bowling, it'd probably be, I enjoy photography a lot, but somewhere where I could be out meeting people and just being in contact with the public.
Right, I know about the photography. During the 500 week at Indianapolis Speedway, you'll find Mike with that camera really having a field day.
Comes up in the 7th frame. 4 in a row, has a chance to take a 60-pin lead.
Mike Albee, who won in Cleveland last year, trying to get another one. We'll return to Peoria following this. City, and here I play with new golf balls because I lose the old ones, but this man has new equipment not to his liking.
Amleto Monicelli came in the building today. None of his bowling equipment was there. No shoes, no bowling balls, anything. And what happens, Chris, is we have a truck that takes almost all the players' equipment to the next stop, that being Atlantic City. Somehow, Amleto's equipment got on that truck. He had to drill up a new ball about a half hour ago, and I hope he feels comfortable with it as he goes into the championship game. But now, in the 2nd game, Jurek trails by 60 pins and must start throwing some strikes.
Open frames have really done him in after that 268 in the 1st game and 8 strikes in a row.
Here's an interesting shot. Look at this. You're straight down over the foul line. You're straight down over the foul line. Now watch Jack Jurek as he slides right up to the foul line, and his knee penetrates the foul line but doesn't touch over it. A good follow through. He's sliding into the center of the lane. Excellent shot to show how a bowler releases and comes to a full stop.
A lot of speed covering the 10 pin. Meanwhile, Wayne Webb, who will meet the winner of the 2nd game, is warming up. You'll hear the pins falling from his practice shots like there. And Monicelli trying to get accustomed to the new bowling balls.
Jurek right now has a possible 208 game. Absolutely must strike if he has any chance to win.
I think he's, in 2 games, had more Brooklyns than we've seen in a while.
Well, Jack, I know is good at concentrating and everything, but he'll go back and look at this championship round performance that he's had in the 2 games and analyze it and find out his speed control was a little off, and that's how he had a few errant shots. He's bowling against a veteran here, Albee. He was really going for the throat.
Mike Albee now with 5 in a row in our 2nd game from Peoria.
Albee coming in from the left side into the 1-2 pocket. His ball, a very sharp break, drives to the 1-2, drives the ball straight back, almost chops the 5 off the 8. And you know, I like Albee's demeanor on the lane. When the match was early, he put some pressure and showed some emotion, let Jack Jurek feel it. Now he's got the match well in hand. He's being very congenial. That's really a credit to his match game style.
Didn't get the 10 pin. But much appreciation from this capacity crowd at Landmark Lanes in Peoria.
The wide break. Now watch the ball enter the 1-2, drive the 5 pin over into the 6-10 zone. Just a little bit too much power. Albee doesn't carry the 10, but he has the match well in hand. He's going to be at a 247 pace with this conversion. Jack Jurek will see another good day at the tour and hopefully get into the winner's circle.
So it means we will have 2 players of the year going against each other, and between them 30 PBA titles, Albee, and Wayne Webb. All from the True Value Open. You Open, Mike Albee ends the one-game reign of Jack Jurek, shooting a 256 to Jack's dismal 192, but Jurek will be back on our telecast in the future. Webb and Albee, a dream match, not only on paper as we look at those 10 pins. We'll see a lot of them at a relatively new center at the Showboat Hotel, the Atlantic City Open. That's next Saturday, followed by the Budweiser Open from North Olmsted, Ohio, 2 weeks from today. Here in Peoria, 160 started the competition.
Chris, and the scores were very high. As you see, the field average was 213 and 223 to make the top 24. And some real class players there. Joe Salvemini just missing out. Furpo up there. David White had a bunch of 290s this week. Lightfoot back on the trail. Eagle flying high. Ray Perez doing well. Lefty Hugh Miller. Steve Cook. Curtis Odom. Stayrook was on our championship round. Weber's back. Bob Benoit needs to have some surgery, they said. Carmen Salvino, the grandfather of bowling. George Bram III, my guy. Gus Yarnos, he's over there at the sports bar looking in. Parker Bone. Sam Macarone. Look at that home. Glassboro, the home of the 1967 Summit meeting between Kosygin and Johnson. Chris, he comes from a famous town. And let's take a look at the money leaders so far, right into only the 8th week of professional bowling.
Brian Voss, who is taking the week off, finished 42nd here. Here you see the average leaders. Dave Ferraro, an upstate New Yorker. Parker Bone from New Jersey, and David D'Entremont. There you see the capacity crowd at Landmark Lanes. This is only a portion of a recreation center, second to none, because there is a tremendous health club with a membership of about 1,000. There's an arcade. There's an off-track betting area. Oh, boy.
Chris, the action's going to pick up here. You saw how tough Albee was in the first match. He's the player of the year going against one of the, I think, the toughest opponents in professional bowling, a man who hasn't won in 4 years, Wayne Webb. Could be the match of the season.
And Mike puts first frame pressure on his friend and competitor, 31-year-old Wayne Webb, one of bowling's best, the 1980 PBA Player of the Year, winner of the 1980 Firestone, 16 championships. Look at that style. Well, just like a good boxing match, sparring, punching back, all even after a frame.
What a terrific break Wayne Webb gets. He comes in light, and what it looks like he's going to lead the 2-4-5, as we just had in the bowling tip of the week. The head pin comes to the sideboard, chops out the 2-pin, and he's off to a good start. Great break, as you see how he got to the championship round. 6 rounds of bowling, 42 games this week. Webb qualified second.
Here's the man that had one of the 13 perfect 300 games, along with a pair of 289s. Albee's high game was 279, but in his last match here on television, Albee had a 256. Strike-up shooting in the second. And Albee on the right lane leaves the 4-7.
Albee, if he has any problem with his game today, is he gets a little soft with the ball. He doesn't keep that ball speed up around 17 or 18 miles an hour. That's his ideal speed. When he drops down around 16, kind of aims the ball with that big wide sweeping hook, it drifts high as he's cleaning out his thumb hole. Apparently got a little either oil or lane conditioner in his thumb hole. Wisely looked down and wipes it out. He'll flatten this shot. Watch how he breaks his wrist down in his release point, cuts that hook down to convert this spare.
Mike has been a member of the PBA for 11 years, 14 titles.
See the angle of Albee from our overhead camera. He's coming in almost from the left side of the lane like a right-handed bowler. Goes across lane, kills it. See, his wrist does not quite break all the way through. Converted that 4-7 spare. Albee used to have a lot of trouble with left-hand corner spares. Chris, in Paris, France, 1982, he missed 2 7-pins in a championship match with the big hook ball. Immediately made the change in 83. Has been a good spare shooter ever since.
And then a solid 9, if there ever was one.
And a second look from Albee. Now, you want to see the action of a powerful bowling ball. Watch the action as it cuts through the 1, 2, and then goes through and just chops the 5-pin straight back off the 9. First real bad break that Mike's had so far in the championship round.
The mark is important, of course. Wayne Webb ready to go. And speaking of readiness, anyone, men or women, competing in the Bud Light Ironman Triathlon, whew, you want to not miss that event. Super. Wayne Webb, 3 in a row. Let's replay a look from the profile.
See the leverage of Wayne Webb. What makes him so good is the word leverage. Watch how he drives through that pivot step. There it is, that right foot. Then plants that left and uses that arm in such a heavy pendulum swing. Snaps that wrist through. And believe me, nobody can throw strikes any better than Wayne Webb. His confidence is a little low, Chris, because he hasn't won in 4 years. But let him get a run at him again. He's as good as they come in professional bowling.
4 in a row for our semifinalists. Wayne Webb, we're in Peoria, nestled on the west bank of the Illinois River. Snow-covered it is. This is one of them, Raymond Becker, who owns Landmark Recreation Center. And you know, busy men, successful men are always active in charity. Easter Seals, last year he raised $500,000.
Wow, he's such a wonderful guy hosting the tournament. A lot of good things happening for Ray Becker.
Leaving the 2-4-7. Mike Albee having his troubles here in his second game.
Albee, all he has to think about is keeping that speed up. As you see him slide to the foul line, he's almost in the center. See how he turns slightly sideways, which puts a little pull into the ball. The ball breaks sharply high and leaves the 2-4-7. Albee once again will try to use that kill shot. Break the wrist back, a little extra speed. Avoid the chop.
I remember his opponent, Wayne Webb, has strung 4 in this, our third match of the afternoon. If you just joined us, Jack Jurek eliminated Del Ballard 268 to 226. And then Albee, at whom you're looking, defeated Jurek 256 to 192.
Look at how much hook Albee's playing. Staying on the extreme right side of the lane, he'll slide almost in the center and go way out over the second arrow with a wide swing.
All but the 7.
Didn't quite get the power that Mike wanted to see on that particular shot. One of the drawbacks that Mike had in his early days was he didn't carry the 7-pin very well, and the reason was simple. He used to use a 15-pound bowling ball, and that's fine for amateurs, but it's very difficult to beat the top pros with a 15-pounder. Albee switched to 16-pounder, 1985. Immediate results, Player of the Year. He needs a little extra power today, though, to keep up with Wayne Webb.
Mike Albee, who held the money record in '85 of over $201,000, losing it to Brian Voss, who in 1988 went way over the $220,000 earned.
Wayne Webb just snapping up a wrist device. He wants to keep his wrist nice and firm. He used to be a tremendous power player, hooked the ball way too much, has opted for this type of device to cut the hook down. It's worked so far. He has 4 strikes in a row. Semifinal game.
Now, Webb has 5 in a row. In 1980, he predicted he'd be the player of the decade. We asked him, what's happened?
Well, I started out real good in the early 80s. 86, 87, I fell into a slump. Hadn't won for 4 years. I'm starting to bowl a little better now, and just looking forward to the 90s now.
Got married, and he said his wife, Travis, who is a former woman pro bowler, coached him too much, and that's the reason he went into a slump. He really would like to win today as his hand slipped a little bit, and there's a beautiful young lady from Texas, Travis. 202 average one time in her career, now just a backer of her husband, hopes he can get this 6th strike and be halfway to $200,000.
String is broken, leaving a 4-7. Little relief on the face of Travis.
Ball just slipped off Wayne's hand a little bit off his thumb, and you can see it's going to drift high at this point. Doesn't get the kick over on the left side. The 2-pin just doesn't get out and bounce the 4 out. 5 strikes in a row, ends with a spare here in the 6th.
Wayne finishing 2nd overall in the tournament. Tournament leader Amleto Monticelli will be going against the winner of this game. And again up high, 2-4-7.
We saw Albee string 8 strikes together in the first match. Now, what's he doing differently here in the second match? This is what he is. He's not giving it as much room. He's not staying out real wide. He was hanging right in the channel in the first match, and he's also decreased his ball speed. Sometimes when you have to hook the ball that much, you just kind of lose your trust, and it's so important to keep your eyes on the target, the arrows, and forget about how much hook you're rolling.
All right, as Tammy Albee looks at the overhead score sheet, and one magnified by the PBA for the hundreds of fans that pack into the establishments. It's a great break for them because it is so magnified that it can be easily read.
And the concern registered on Tammy Albee's face is from Mike's score. Right now, he trails by 46 pins. He still has a chance, though. He must start striking here in the 7th.
And again, leaving single pin, this time a 6.
Projecting a conversion for Mike Albee here in the 7th frame. If he converts, 221, as Tammy is a little bit concerned, or more than concerned now, because the match is starting to get out of hand. Albee can still win with a spare here, strike out for 221. Wayne Webb, who's going at a 238 pace, would just need to fill the frames, but anything can happen.
47 pins separating these two champions. A lot of bowling involvement there. On the left, the curator of the National Bowling Museum and Hall of Fame, Bruce Pluckon, and John Archibald of St. Louis Post-Dispatch, great bowling writer, both going into halls.
The halls of fame, and both men I've known a long time. As we watch Wayne Webb step up in the 7th frame, a commanding lead.
That's a good break on the 7-pin, shooting in the 7th frame, 158 through 6.
Wayne Webb just shows his power. The ball enters the 1-3 pocket. Very little deflection. Now, see, here's the key pin. It hits that 5 pin. The 5 drives over in the 4-7 zone and forces the 4 back into the 7. Just tumbles them together, just like they used to do in the old shellac days. Guys like Ned Day, Joe Norris used to throw that 5 pin over there like that.
And it's a 10-pin on the left lane for this man who has just taken the gadget wrist brace off.
He's not getting enough power in the ball, and he knows it. That ball looks good. He's getting some strikes, but it's not rolling the way Wayne Webb's ball should normally roll. Travis just rooting for a victory, hoping that she isn't the jinx that slowed her husband down there.
Mike last winning in North Olmsted, Ohio a year ago, finished high in the Firestone again. But he needs confidence after taking a 2.5-month layoff last summer.
Albee, professional, knows all the moves, but look what has happened to him on this even-framed lane. In the 4th frame, he left the 2-4-7, the 6th frame, the 2-4-7, and here in the 8th, with one additional move with his feet, trying to give the ball more room, he leaves the 2 and 4 pins. It looks like the only adjustment that would have really worked for Mike in this juncture would have been to go with a lot more speed. That's just not his nature. As soon as he develops that speed control a little bit better, he will be back as one of the premier players in all of our sport.
I mentioned the charity event in Long Island he was flying to tomorrow. It's for big brothers and big sisters, totaling last year, out of the $23 million, Bo, raised for charity through bowling, $9 million went to the big brothers and big sisters.
And we saw that little feature where we had all the stars in there. Lynn Swan, as we mentioned before, is very active with big brothers and big sisters, and he loves his bowling. Now, here's Albee with a chance for 209 with 4 strikes.
So he's getting all the bad breaks.
Let's just look at Albee as he goes through the motions here. He's going to slide about the center of the lane, the 20th board, send it out around the second arrow. Now, you'd think that's enough room, but not with the just medium speed that Mike is using. Mike's going down there 16, 17 miles an hour. The players that are doing well today are up near 20 because the lane's hooked so much.
Nope. It's an open in the 9th. That makes Wayne Webb the winner of the semifinal game, and he has earned the opportunity to go for the title against the tournament leader, Amleto Monicelli. Wayne Webb winning his first match. Now the big one coming up. The Professional Bowlers Tour will continue after this message.
Hi, I'm Frank Gifford in New York. Coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports, from Kona, Hawaii, the grueling Bud Light Ironman Triathlon World Championship. Swimming, cycling, a full marathon, they do it all in the same day. Plus, we'll see 3 of the world's greatest skaters, Brian Orser, Brian Boitano, and Katarina Witt, in ice sculptures. And we'll have our regular Athlete of the Week feature. It's all just ahead at 4:30 Eastern Time. Big day on Wide World. Be with us. Now back to bowling, and here's Chris.
Thank you very much, Frank. And here in Peoria, Illinois, Mike Albee eliminated by Wayne Webb 236 to 176. Webb now will meet Venezuelan Amleto Monicelli. While we have a moment here in Peoria, let's go up close and personal with this 27-year-old professional from South America, Monicelli. Weddings are happy occasions for family and friends. These people danced the night away on December 17, 1988, at the wedding of pro bowler Amleto Monicelli and his lovely bride, Teresa. The wedding took place in South America, Barquisimeto, Venezuela, west of Caracas.
I know Teresa for 4 years. She's Italian. She was born in Italy. She moved in Venezuela when she was like 2 years old. So, you know, she's more like, she's like me. I was born in Venezuela and my parents from Italy too. They're really happy with her. One thing that was very important to me for a girl was she could understand what I was doing. I think it's going to be better for me because I have somebody that I trust and talk to when I don't feel good or when I feel good. So I think it's going to be great.
His brother Rodolfo is just starting out on the tour. Amleto's setting a good example. As for his own wishes,
first wish would be really happy with my wife and be with her forever. My second wish is be the top of my performance in bowling forever too, until I can do it, at least until 40.
Amleto Monicelli, well respected. Time now to Ask Bo, a question and an answer. Nelson?
Thank you, Chris. And this week's Ask Bo comes from Garland Jeter of Arlington, Texas. And he says, Bo, the pro bowlers are allowed 3 re-racks on television. How about amateurs? Are they allowed re-racks during league competition? Well, the rule is very simple. The pros are only allowed 3. Amateurs are allowed an unlimited amount of re-racks. And, Chris, I believe that really re-racks should be eliminated from the game. The pros don't need re-racks. The pins are on spot. And unless a pin falls over, shoot whatever's standing, and I'd like to see the American Bowling Congress change that rule. If you have an Ask Bo question, write me at this address.
Okay. Now into our True Value Open Championship game. Head-to-head, 1 game only for 27 to the winner. and a beautiful trophy with a gold-plated hammer inside some lovely walnut wood.
Amleto has only one victory from the #1 position. He stood in that spot 5 times, 1 and 4. Would like to change that to a 2 and 4 first shot.
And the man who was on our telecast 2 weeks ago at the Bowlers Journal Florida Open, he finished 4th. Now, Wayne Webb, who defeated Mike Albee 236 to 176. Looking for his first win in 4 years. All right.
It's amazing how the Professional Bowlers Tour educates a player. 10 years ago, Wayne Webb came out with as much power as you would see in any player that I've ever seen hit the PBA Tour. And today, after 10 years' experience, he's cut that ball down to a happy medium. He has the accuracy that is necessary to be a dominant player and a nice, subtle power that keeps the pins under control.
A high hit, leaving him the 3-pin on the left lane.
I asked his wife, Travis, what has been Wayne's problem? She says he's hitting the ball too hard on the upswing when he makes a bad shot. Exactly what happened there. We try to get more lift on the ball. As Travis, she knows, don't hit it so hard, Wayne. We all try to get lift on the ball, but Wayne has so much power, he overlifts it, and causing the ball to drift a little high.
Play a strike and a spare now here in the title match, True Value Open, for Wayne Webb. Monticelli with new bowling balls. He's using 2.
Amleto had to walk into the pro shop here right at Landmark Lanes, purchased himself a bowling ball, just had it drilled about 2 hours ago, using the full grip, the tips of the fingers barely in the ball. Long stretch span, almost 5 inches, cocks that index finger, and his patented start the lawnmower release.
Oh, helicoptering that shot to give Amleto a double.
The power of Monticelli. 5-step delivery, very high backswing. Look at that hand wide open, cocked to put all you can possibly get on a bowling ball. That kind of leverage, the pins cannot stand when he gets in the light zone as he did on the last shot. As sweet a strike ball as you see in all of bowling.
His brother Rodolfo, whom you saw in the up close and personal, and with Teresa, Amleto's wife, finished 32nd and earned $1,150.
And wait till he makes a championship round. He puts some stuff on the bowling ball also.
Amleto's best year was in '87. He won $112,000. And he is a man that finished second 6 times before winning his first title.
Only 3 times, Chris, have I seen a fellow miss his bowling balls in the championship round. Here today, remember Steve Wunderlich at the AC Delco Classic in 1988. Steve struggled, lost the title match. And Dick Weber in Toledo in 1973, he ended up using his brother-in-law's ball and won the tournament.
Dick Weber, who's back in Warsaw, Indiana, to make a speech to the bowling league there.
Oh, terrific.
Yeah, back home. Sorry I won't be there to join him.
Maybe he'll stop by and watch the Purdue-Iowa game, or at least root for Purdue, because they're going to need all the help they can get tomorrow.
All right. So it's a 10-pin for Wayne Webb, and again, off comes the wrist brace, or whatever you call it.
It's the slide of Wayne Webb. He hits the line, and with all that leverage, you can see that foot flip around, and he leaves the soft 10, the 6-pin just laying down the channel, doesn't quite knock out the 10. Cross lane.
All right, Wayne now moving over to the left side. And here's the doubleheader that Bo mentioned, where he feels my alma mater will be smoked by Iowa. He's probably right. Illinois, Ohio State. You want to pick that one?
Well, I think Ohio State has very little chance with their leading scorer, Jay Burson. He's out. And Illinois, great team. I think they can win it all. Kendall Gill's out till mid-March, and should be an easy Illinois victory.
Wristband back on for the shot. He's established a procedure now, at least on the right lane. Yes, now he is taking it off to shoot the spare.
I really don't understand it. Apparently it's comfort or a commercial, one of the two. It's almost looking commercial to me. Even turned the wristband label a little bit towards the camera there, Wayne. So you're doing a good job if that's what you're supposed to be doing.
Shades of Jim McMahon, the Chicago Bears. Okay, an unusual trophy and a very expensive and lovely one. There it is for the winner of this game, which will continue after this. Vantage point is taken here at Landmark Lanes, this house of 50, as our championship game is taking place on just 2 of the 50 lanes, 37 and 38. It's been capacity houses throughout the week. Peoria, a bowling hotbed.
Had to turn him away last night. No room. Now, Monticelli, 4th frame, leads by 10. Spare up.
3 strikes and 4 frames for the man looking for his 3rd title. Won the 1988 Showboat, 1987 Japan Cup.
Well, Monticelli was back in Barquisimeto, Venezuela over the December holidays. He opened 2 new clothing stores with his father, who is in the clothing business. Monticelli wear, renowned around the world as some of the finest formal wear, as you look at wife Teresa, hoping to see her husband win his first victory during their marriage. There will be many, Teresa. This guy has got it.
Who says it doesn't pay to have new equipment now and then? Well, that's the story here. Monticelli without his 2 regular bowling balls, and I'd say doing quite well.
You see Monticelli gets a terrific break as he goes across the left side of the head pin. The 3 trips out to 6, and he puts the pressure on Wayne Webb.
Only Wayne's 2nd strike in 5 frames in his victory over Mike Albee. He had 7 strikes to shoot a 236 to Albee's 176.
Wayne Webb started bowling at the age of 3, turned pro at 18. His first year on the tour, he only won $90. As you see, the 18 games of qualifying led by Del Ballard, and Webb took over after 18 games. Webb held the lead till the very last game, and Monticelli crept up through the very tightly packed group of 5 players to lead the tournament. But now it's all up to who can win this game, as Webb can cut the lead down to just 10 pins with a strike in the 6th.
Peoria, a 10-pin for Webb. Peoria named for Native American tribe that roamed these beautiful countryside years ago, and the economy is great here now again, Bo. They make a lot of wonderful toys here, like bulldozers and things.
Well, I know a little bit about the bulldozers, as was partners in a D6 at one time.
All right, and Mayor Jimmy Maloof, the singing mayor, really has done a great job in this friendly city. All right, we move down with our director, Larry Cam's shot by one of our ace cameramen. You see different colored bowling shoes.
And really, it's kind of a superstition with Monticelli. They're both custom shoes, and those are his shoes. He had an extra pair of bowling shoes that he hadn't used them in a while, and he went back to the motel room and got those. But the bowling ball was drilled just a couple hours ago. He's a little bit unfamiliar with it, but he has the lead by 20.
And now 30. Teresa.
You see a maturing Amleto Monticelli. He strikes in the 4th, then gets that real lucky break in the 5th. Now, the old Monticelli would have thrown a bad shot here in the 6th and let Wayne Webb off the hook. The new Monticelli takes advantage of that break, extends to 3 in a row, and he can put 1 nail in the coffin with a strike here in the 7th and extend to 40 pins.
A lot less deliberate off the approach than 2 weeks ago. Picking up his pace a bit. Just did not come into the pocket. 1-2-10, Bo. How should we shoot it?
Well, Chris, he's got to get the ball over there in the left side of the 2-pin and drive it over into the 4. This is what we see quite often in professional bowling. It's not that difficult to make, but in this situation with strikes up, if he misses one of the pins, it counts as 2. So the match can make a major turnaround without this conversion. Put Wayne Webb back in the match as Monicelli opens here in the 7th frame. And the match went from a commanding lead to down to just 15 pins. Webb can start to close the margin.
Often a loss of concentration. Only takes one. And like the 16-time winner that he is, he jumps on it. Now he can cut the lead to 5 pins with a strike in the 8th of this title game.
I'll tell you, Wayne Webb, Bowler of the Year, he has done it all. He is not a household name, somewhat like a Voss or a Holman, but he's one of bowling's greatest stars, as evidenced by his terrific record of 16 titles and almost $1 million in earnings, and he will not let this 8th frame go by without his best shot of the match. He's going to lean back for a little extra. The lead would be just 5 pins if he strikes.
There it is. So at the foundation night coming up, Travis, Wayne's wife.
Monicelli's complexion has turned, Chris. He's a little bit flustered up there. I see going from a nice relaxed position as he came up in the 7th frame to a flushed face. But you talk about physical conditioning taking over. This man has no doubts about his condition. He's in top physical shape, but he must muster up some strikes. See the full grip. You see the oil around the ball. You see that little liquid right there on the ball. That's the oil from being on the lane.
Didn't get the 2.
The sideboard story is Monicelli, he knows he can win, but will the bowling ball be the difference? It's unfortunate he doesn't have his own ball, but can't change what's happened now. As you see that snap release of Monicelli, the ball slides by, leaving the 2-pin.
Okay. For Amleto is 25th television final. Second here in 1989.
Very deliberate. Wipes all the oil or conditioner off the ball. And the reason you do that is you don't want any extra oil on the ball. You've learned to play the lanes, read a shot with the ball clean, the surface clean. So you don't want any from the previous shot on there. It's a good habit to wipe it off. Now it's come to story time, 9th frame. The match will be determined in the next 2 frames.
Did not come up, just slid by. No chance.
Not getting the normal Amleto Monicelli turn and power on the ball, and the ball is not breaking near what it should be. Once he gets a difficult spare to convert. The 1, 2, 8, 10. Need to get the ball over here left of the head pin. Drive the head pin over into the 10 pin. We've seen that shot converted once today. Monicelli needs it right here to stay in the lead.
That's how to do it.
Super shot. He gets that ball left of the head pin, drives the head into the 10 pin. He's still back in the match. It's up for grabs. Now Webb up, can take the lead for the first time. 9th frame.
Loved that one, knew how important it was. The man that eliminated Mike Albee in the previous game, and now putting the pressure here, that strike in the 9th.
For my money, there's about a half a dozen players in the Professional Bowlers Tour can throw one ball. I would put Wayne Webb in that category, and he's down to that situation. He has not won a tournament in 4 years. He can win this tournament and shut out Monticelli with a strike right here in the 10th. If he doesn't, Monticelli can still win. Chris, we saw that happen once before. Now, Wayne is a very short guy. He's got a very small hand and grip. And what happens, he usually uses a little rosin in the thumb hole, and he didn't have it. His thumb slipped out as he started, and he wisely stopped.
And each time he's looked back at this lady, his wife, Travis.
Well, Travis says, throw a strike, honey. We need this one. This is for the win. It's not over.
No, 8 pins separating them.
Now, Webb with a spare and another strike would have 217 as a somewhat worried Travis Webb looks to the scoreboard. Monticelli can win. The match can still end up in a tie.
Made sure. Tough way to make a living, though.
Oh, it's so definitive, but yet it's a wonderful way to make a living, Chris, because you don't worry about another guy fumbling a ball or somebody dropping a throw over to first base. It's all you. Monticelli, he knows he must throw at least 2 strikes. Webb trying to do the best he can and finish with 217. 216.
Leaving a single pin, 216. After he'd strung 3, 7, 8, 9. So right now we're having a re-rack on the right lane requested by Monticelli. Bud Light Ironman, Triathlon World Championship, and Ice Sculptors on Wide World following immediately. And
watch the women in the Ironman, Chris. They've come so far that the women this year are doing times similar to the men 2 years ago.
Okay, you watch them, and I'm going to watch Katarina Witt, the great gold medal figure skater.
All right, and Monticelli would be happy to watch Wide World also, but he needs 2 strikes to make it even a happier situation. He must strike on this shot to win the tournament.
High hit, a 3 pin, and Wayne Webb has broken a drought. Almost disbelief. Great pressure, great relief for this 31-year-old, originally from Rehoboth, Massachusetts, hugging Tracy in victory. 27,000 won by Wayne Webb. I'm Leto Monticelli, 14,000. And after a long wait, Wayne Webb has won another big title. Jerry Thompson, General Merchandise Manager of Goddard & Company with the trophy. This is our friend Ray Becker, proprietor here at Landmark. Wayne, Travis gave you a lot of help.
She sure did. It didn't look good yesterday. We flew her in yesterday, and I didn't bowl good in the morning. Then things just fell back together again. She's a great backer.
What have you helped him on?
Just, I don't know. Just.
You can't talk about it, right? Congratulations, Travis. All right, Jerry, quick.
And on behalf of the over 6,000 True Value hardware stores across the country, I'd like to present this trophy to you. It'll look good in your trophy case. Congratulations.
Thank you. I'd like to thank True Value, Ray Becker, and I guess you got to like them hammers.
Thank you, Ray, for a great tournament again. Here's a check for $27,000 from Raymond Becker of Becker Brothers to Wayne Webb, the winner. Great championship for him. Coming up next on ABC's Wide World of Sports.
The following is a special